slightly related, I've been watching trash television, which I think is at this point just as probably more valuable than the news. I was watching Too Hot to Handle. And at the end of, so the premise of the show is that they put a bunch of people who think they're going to hook up with one another onto a show. They tell them in the first episode that there's a prize of $100,000. And if you don't hook up, you get it all. And for every hookup there is, we reduce that money. Mm-hmm. So, it's a tragedy of the commons thing. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a pure tragedy. There's actually a lot of issues with the show, because I won't even go into them because, of course, there's issues with Too Hot to Handle. But at the end of it, they tell them, actually, the winner of the show gets all the money. We split it last season. We're not going to split it this season.
Oh, sick.
And it is fucking amazing. And I believe that the deception was self-deception and not deception of the camera. How quickly people who had literally had sex on the show, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like 2 a.m. in a room with 12 people, snuck over to sleep with one another, are so interested in relationships. And they really feel changed. Mm-hmm. And this has been such a good experience. These are the people that cost the most money to the group. You know what I mean? And I believe, because they're not that good of actors, I believe that when they realized that if they changed, they could make $55,000, that they then genuinely wanted something different for the next 48 hours. Sure. Their brain did them the favor of being like, no, we want relationships now. We don't want to sleep around anymore. Back when we had to split that with 12 other people, tragedy of the commons, sorry guy, I'm going to get mine. Yep. And it was crazy to, as soon as that announcement came out, all of the little confessionals just had such a different tone. Yeah. Everyone was like, I don't even know about the show. I feel like I might get it. It's I feel like I've learned so much. It's been so great. And our relationship is stronger than ever. And then the guy who won, you go to his Instagram with the girl that he won, and they didn't have a single photo together. They broke up right away.
Sure.
People's brains kick in and do them favors in order to earn them money and make them believe things.
I even felt it with the vaccine. So I've been pretty clear on the podcast. My whole thing was for someone that's young and healthy and had already had COVID and had an antibody test that came back good. I still had antibodies. I was not concerned about getting COVID. Mm-hmm. And also, I thought the vaccine had very little downside, wasn't going to kill you, but we only have so much data on it. We have no idea what happens in 30 years. So I was like, probably COVID, I'm fine. Probably vaccine, I'm fine. But I'm just tilting to I'm going to wait because I already had COVID and I literally went and got an antibody test that said I still had the antibodies. Yep. And then I got the vaccine anyway because I'm going to a wedding in New York.
And they won't let you in.
And they won't let you in. Yeah.
Which is funny because they don't care about immunity. We talked about this. They don't care about immunity, which you could demonstrate that you had.
Oh yeah. I said I have an antibody test that shows I have antibodies, and I'll get a negative COVID test that shows so I don't have COVID and I have the antibodies, which studies are coming out. You're 13 times more protected from the Delta variant if you have natural immunity than if you have the vaccine. Mm-hmm. So I was like, surely that'll be pretty solid for you guys since that's your fear is the breakthrough cases. And they're like, no, you need the vaccine card.
Yeah, I mean, it's political on both sides, but that to me was just fucking ridiculous when I was like, you don't care about illness. You care about compliance.
Well, only because I wasn't saying, hey, I got COVID, so you should trust me.
Yeah.
I went and got blood work done at a hospital that came back that I had antibodies at a material amount.
Yeah.
And so, I did the work to check on if the quote unquote natural immunity was there. But I noticed in myself, I was like, okay, I'm not going to get the vaccine because who knows what it's going to be like in 50 years. And then once I got it, I was like, this thing's probably safe. I could sense even in myself that thought that, oh yeah, maybe this is cigarettes and we'll all find out that doctors are prescribing it and it ends up causing cancer. Once I got it, I was like, that's way less likely than I thought it was.
Yeah.
And so I could just see my own confirmation bias that now that I'd done it, I had to convince myself this was totally safe, not just 99.5% safe.
And you felt it, I'm sure. It wasn't just top brain. You're like, I feel safe with it.
No, sorry. I felt it first.
Yeah.
And then I went, what the fuck is happening? All of a sudden, I've lost my ability to understand why other people won't get vaccinated.
Yeah,
I hear other people won't get vaccinated. I'm like, just do it. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. 2 days ago, I would have said that makes total sense. We have no idea what happens 50 years from now.
But you can't hold on to that because that's upsetting. That's upsetting to think I might have injected myself with something that appeared safe today and might have some negative consequences in 25 years or 50 years.
Yeah, we just might find out, and it might not be massive. We might find out that there's a 15% increase in prostate cancer if you got this thing, But yeah, I couldn't hold on to that sense. Mm-hmm. And it was only with talking to people, I was like, I feel like I felt differently 2 days ago. And then I got the vaccine. And now I sure do feel confident that the vaccine is safe.
And everyone should get
I
it.
recognize my own confirmation bias. It's like, yeah, why don't we all just do it?
Because if I have a 15% increase of prostate cancer, but everyone does, nothing is increased. we all have prostate cancer.
Yeah, it was more just that I just immediately threw out the fact that might happen in my brain.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is safe. There's definitely no way this thing that we have a year worth of data on.
Have you felt more concerned at all with the repercussions of getting COVID since that? Okay, so you've been less afraid of the vaccine. On the other side, prior to that was, you might get COVID again at some point when your antibodies were off. Have you felt that at all or no?
Dude, I'm so freaking
Because that's
immune.
not been exactly, because you
I
haven't
still have my natural antibodies and I have the vaccine.
Yeah.
Like,
Got it.
And I'm 34 and I don't have any pre-existing things. I feel like surely there can't be a more COVID immune person on the planet than me right now.
Got it.
So no, I that has not gone up at all. I'm not worried about getting a breakthrough case.
Got it.
Yeah, that some study in Israel came out and it hasn't been peer reviewed yet. So I would say take it with a grain of salt. But they're saying,
See, you read news. You said you weren't reading any news. You got the news.
Yeah.
That's the second study you've referenced.
well, I don't put a lot of weight into it because it's not been peer reviewed.
Well, who knows if it's real is all I'm saying. Like
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I mean like it all could be nonsense. I'm a hyper skeptic at this point, and I know that people are going to find that frustrating. And I one day would have a longer conversation on the podcast with someone who disagrees, but I think with you understand me, so I won't.
I do think
myself.
COVID is real.
Yeah,
I'm not a skeptic that
Had
COVID is a myth. Aren't there people that thought at one point COVID was like?
No,
a
I
myth?
had it. I definitely had it last December. No doubts there. So just a random thing. This is the last thing on Red Team, Blue Team. Interesting, living in California, there's a recall election going on. I have seen several ads about it. Every single one has been for Gavin Newsom. And none of them have said anything about Gavin Newsom's positives. They've all stressed fear of a Republican governor, which I just thought was an interesting understanding of human psychology. It's like, these people get it. They are not going to convince anyone to show up and vote for Gavin Newsom. And I think,
that was how they ran Biden too.
It's how they ran Hillary. It was how they've run everyone. And so they're 1-1 on presidents. And
that's not how Obama ran. Obama wasn't a
he was hoping
Mitt
change,
Romney.
man.
He had principled vote for him mindset.
Yes. And I actually think the Democratic Party seems to increasingly be leaning on this, and it might be effective. Like, it didn't work in 2016, but I'd say it was very effective. And I think part of it was Donald Trump and the reaction of big tech and much of the media against him, which made the anti-sentiment effective. And it might be I wonder if it's going to be the entire Democrat strategy for major elections going forward.
I think it can only work for so long, though, because what do you do? I think, so the problem is, I'm not super politically informed, but I imagine that the thing that wins elections is actually voter turnout. And if you have a moderate Republican like Mitt Romney, and then a candidate that doesn't stand for anything except for don't let the Republicans win, it's not that people will switch parties, but you just might not get that turnout because they're like, oh, it actually wouldn't be the end of the world. Like if Trump wins, it's the end of the world. But if Mitt Romney wins, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. So I've only seen a handful of the ads, but the ads, and some of them do paint, because I don't know anything about the Republican candidates really at all. I don't know anything about Gavin Newsom. But they do paint them as extreme, which they may or may not be. And I wonder if that's just going to become the new strategy, which is like, look, fuck if Mitt Romney's extreme. We'll just make him extreme. And then we'll say,
I hope at some point you get a candidate that runs on their own platform and positions instead of just, I'm not the other guy.
It just might be less effective, It might be less effective. So we'll see. I don't know. And that's just, 2 data points and totally anecdotal. Another thing, this was interesting, total different, because we get off the politics now. Hope that you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more like this and have us do more podcasts, we are 100% funded by our generous patrons. And if you'd like to contribute, there's a link in the description, and we'll have one pop up on the screen right here so that we can do more podcasts where we have fun conversations and hopefully some deep ones like this. Either way, hope that you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.